Final Pogba will leave it for Rashford. He strikes. Oh, it's a goal! Staying on his feet this time. Look, they went for Martial. Lovely touch by Fernandez. Cavani! Rashford all the way across goal. What a finish!
Welcome, everyone. Welcome back to Kiana. How the vacation was? How the vacation was? Anybody went Dubai to relax, and anybody went
A
to
much
watch
much
cricket?
needed one.
Yeah, anybody went to watch
Much
cricket
needed
in
one.
Barbados? Anybody went Greece and lying by any bars? Anybody do that here, like?
Nope.
Because I mean, clearly, I feel we as fans, we deserve, that kind of break now, because it makes sense we getting a break from this team, and them enjoying the break more than us now, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
At least the ones who didn't, join up with international teams. Anyway, it's been a while, guys. It's been a while. The international break is not always welcomed, but for this time, at least I think so. Right? And if I'm honest with you, I think after the Atletico game and the Champions League exit, I think we all kind of agree that we needed a little break from United.
Yeah.
But like with drugs, the withdrawal, they start to get a little antsy. And I'll be honest, I couldn't wait for the international break to come to an end. I was excited to see us playing once again. Especially when you see, the impact Bruno and Ronaldo had with Portugal. Pogba looking good as he usually does with France. I really thought when those guys came back, call me naive, call me foolish, right? I was hoping, I was looking forward to the return of club football. And to be honest with you, I knew fully well that them boy was coming to spoil my weekend. How are we going, Nico?
Yeah, boy, definitely he was in a fairyland, a make-believe land, or make-believe world, right? During that little time and thinking that, when United come back, but at the end, they call it out. At the end, they call it out and they said, the footy will know they were coming to spoil the weekend. So again, good night to everyone. Definitely as United fans, we really going right now. And I guess as fans, that's what they call us fans. Which is maybe short for fanatic, because definitely we had to be kind of lunatics, to support this thing true and true now, boy. So as fans and fanatics, are we as we are, we continue to support the team, and as Reem said, for some reason, this weekend is gonna get spoiled. Yeah.
JP, talk to me, and welcome back on the show again, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me again, fellas. Good night, everybody.
Yeah.
I was hopeful now. I was hopeful. when I see Ronaldo wasn't in the team, and we went back to the false nine, I probably jumping ahead to team selection and thing, yeah, but that
Now
take
you
it
go
away
through,
from
man.
me. That take away the little hope I had, because Bruno don't understand that role. He don't understand that role. Of course, Maguire, when you see Maguire, you can't question Mark, but you can't question him today. Honestly, he didn't have a bad game today. So I was hopeful. I was really hoping that the little break, we had some players who didn't travel with the team, so they were still in camp, and we had 18 days. We had 18 days. And it didn't look like we had 18 days. It looked like when everybody come back last night, they decided, all right, well, what we'll do tomorrow, fellas?
Yeah, you go freestyle it. You go wing
Yeah,
it.
yeah, we just do all the thing. It didn't look like that our plan.
Philip, what's up, sir? How do you do?
You might just stress me? You must be crazy, boy. At the end of the day, You gotta tune into All In All United for this therapy session, boy. You have to. You got no other choice. If I watch United and then Reem call me and say that there's no session for All United, I don't know what I can do with the rest of my night. I don't know. I can say Reem and Nico host it. Let somebody else host it, man. You got to have All In All United after a United match, man. But yeah, though,
Definitely.
I'm doing well, man. I am glad to be back. Good night to everyone, and you know what? Let's get this show on the road.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, chef, welcome, man. Good night to
Yeah,
you
good night. Good
too.
night.
So, um, today, right? The game played at the Theatre of Dreams,
Nightmares, you mean?
right?
Jesus.
And a packed stadium, and even JP said it. We had 18 days. Sometimes, and it's something that we repeated often in the past. After a poor performance, we know the players know that that they have to make up for it. So you're thinking, as we would have said before, we get knocked out. We get some time to train. Even though Ralph would not have had the full complement of players, but players went over to the national teams and had good performances. So confidence was would have been at good levels. Yet at a packed stadium where these fans, and I believe just like us, we were expecting a kind of response. Yet again, we saw a boring, uninspired, lackluster display. Right? And at full time, if I be honest, if I was Brendan Rodgers, I'd have been leaving Old Trafford. That place that was a fortress. I would have been leaving Old Trafford upset, right? That I didn't get full 3 points today. And that's just how bad we are or things are at the moment. Now let me answer that question, and then from here we will get into team sheets and stuff like that. Do you all think that we've surpassed the Moyes era to call this season the worst since Sir Alex Ferguson's retirement?
Yes, because well, that's a good question because it was always going to be a difficult task to fill the shoes of Sir Alex Ferguson, and that was the task that David Moyes was given, right? But at the end of the day, David Moyes inherited a team that just won the Premier League, right? Now, this season, we've had two managers. We've brought back the prodigal son. We brought in a potential in Jadon Sancho. We brought in Champions League winner and World Cup winner Rafael Varane. And there's some teams that are above us that haven't brought in the caliber of player, and they're ahead of us, right? I've written off this season already. If it's one of the worst, yes. If it is the worst, boy, I can be straight with you guys. I honestly can't remember anything that happened under David Moyes. I can't. So yeah.
Other than buying Mata and Fellini. It was Mata? What Mata was there? Mata?
Yeah.
Nah,
No,
he brought in
Mata.
Mata.
No, brought Mata.
Mata and
And
Fellini.
He bought
Yeah.
Martin. He bought Martin in January, and I
January.
will always remember that he could have gotten Fellaini for about 18 million, but he chose to do the most Manchester United thing and spend 30.75 or 30.5 million on Fellaini. So
No, I think that was planned because remember he wanted to give Everton that money. You feel anything else happened just so? That happened just so? Well, yeah.
Nico, I'm done.
Yeah, for me, as for what I said, that's a very good question. That's a very good question because yeah, I'm thinking, boy. Um,
But
and
at least under Moyes, we win what, one or two trophies, right?
Moist
The
Trophy.
community shield. The community
Community
shield.
Shield.
Okay,
He
okay.
didn't last full
Uh,
season to win anything.
I
Yeah,
say
I
that
think
one.
that's all we win.
Yeah.
Yeah, community
Um,
shield.
yeah, that's a good question, but uh, Yeah, but I think the difference is I think the difference, Reem, is maybe I think we are a little more invested now than before. Um, because the emotions, the emotions at that time was terrible too, you know? Because you're watching your team and it's like what going on. But for some reason, I think, 'cause, I kind of like Ralph outside of what going on, but for some reason, you just be hopeful that you know what today we might get a good performance. Sometimes you might get a good performance, maybe less than more, but you still had that hope that you might get a good performance now. On that Moyes is like, nah, 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 nothing, nothing, no, So I think Moyes still, but I think Moyes still, for me, I think Moyes still take it because I feel that someday Bruno might show up, Ronaldo might score a trick against Spurs, something you might feel my Sancho might do something nice. Fred might score a worldie, something now, you know. Maybe we might score a free kick, or a score from a set play today. You always hope for something, but then it wasn't hopeful for nothing, but hopeful for anything. So I rate him more as he was. But good question, good question.
JP
Yeah,
thoughts
You
on
want,
it?
I
yeah,
think
and
I
if you
agree
could get
that.
some comments on that from the guys listening, we wanna know your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I think
Mm,
Moyes had a winning team. He had a winning team. He had Van Persie, he had big players in that team. Now we have players who know about when we used to win. We don't winners in the team. We bring Cristiano, we bring Varane, but they weren't part of the team. So I think that Moyes, that was just a nightmare. And that's where the nightmare starts, I would say. I had real hard to have to go back through all the rubbish
yeah, boy.
years to remember what went on with Moyes. But I would still give him it as he was. I mean, what he doing at West Ham now, who knows? But at the same time, it was worse then. I think he got a job
Yeah,
at the wrong time. I think it was the wrong time for him.
and I think with Moyes, with smaller teams, he would always look okay,
Yeah,
because the expectation's so low
right.
that when you win 2 or 3 games in a bounce, that's a big thing,
Yeah.
But at United, by the time you lose one game, it's like a crisis now.
Yeah, that it was
And
too much
and,
of
and
a that step
It's
was too
Armageddon.
big.
It's Armageddon when you lose one game at United.
yeah, yeah, and you're seeing that in the players too. You're seeing that in players like Sancho who starting to play only safe
Yeah, going
plays,
back to
only
that.
play the
Yeah.
ball back, going the ball side because you know I don't know, maybe they're afraid to do something wrong, afraid to lose the ball, afraid to, a defender hit them a hard tackle that we're not bad still.
But I mean, one of the other things too, and I think Ralph suffering from that as well as managing egos because I mean we talk about it so much times. Ralph really never dealt with a team, the caliber of Man United. When you have a dressing room with Cristiano Ronaldo, Paul Pogba, and others, and to manage egos is a real big thing. And that is why we've seen all these different, stories leaking from the dressing room with players not happy, players questioning the coach credentials, and all kind of thing. And it was similar even in Moyes' time as well because he had the likes of Rio Ferdinand, questioning what you're doing.
And he
Um,
wanted them to watch Jagielka tapes. I mean,
whether that is true or not, I still don't know, right? Because that could be,
yeah, that was
you
a
know,
rumor. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that could be.
But
So,
but
go ahead.
but really, in terms of what you said, right? In terms of you know, Ralph not being able to manage egos, I think what he is also suffering from is the lack of support in the transfer window. Because I think if they supported him in the transfer window, right, you could have judged him more on that now. Because now you give him pieces to work with that just not fit in. And now from the outside looking in, we could say that his egos or his training methods or whatever else. But if you don't support the man, then it's really difficult for us to really criticize or to really even judge or to really know what even going on the inside now. So I think every teams are what going on this season is they see that lack of support for Ralph in the well, at least from January. I think that will be paying for right now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So guys who looking on, you know, Josiah Bihari on the inside. Thanks for joining, and Joel Jones. And all I know normally when we do get a good result, the viewership, let's be
Yeah.
real, it is struggle now. But we do appreciate those who on the inside still, and continue to share and like the content, like get it out for more people to vent and get some and be part of this therapy session. All right. So team sheet fellas. Now consider this
And if you
as
want to get,
part.
let me get in this one before you this comment here before you
All
move
right,
on.
sure. Um, Josiah saying here Moyes was the worst. I believe that United was too big a club at the time for his caliber. But Ralph era could give him some competition here. Ralph has a really good team to choose from on paper, but not able to get the best out of these players. I believe that there is a lot behind the scenes happening with top management. Good point. Good point. Um, so team sheet fellas, but Gary Neville, who is very, very vocal, right? He criticized Ralph today for not starting Rashford. And the comment he made is he said that killed Marcus Rashford today. And Ralph responded by saying, the decision was either between Rashford or Pogba. Right? So Ralph had to decide if he was going with a striker. Even though I don't really think Rashford is a striker, but I mean, that's the argument, right? It's either he going with a striker or an extra midfielder. So where you're sitting on this fence, you're sitting with Gary Neville in that at least the man could play as a striker, or you're going with Ralph, who said he went with Pogba because he felt the need to go with the additional midfielder.
But don't forget, Leicester had NDD out, so Leicester actually had to put two guys in the midfield, and Tielemans and
Mendy.
Mendy, yeah.
Mendy.
The other guy,
Tielemans was somebody else, man. But
what's his
anyway,
name
normally,
again,
Was
boys?
normally,
is it Mendy,
normally,
boy?
Yeah, it was
Mendy. It was Tielemans, Mendy, and what's the guy named something
Juice-
Hall.
Dewsbury Hall.
Dewsbury
Very
Hall.
Hall.
He
And
still
he
play
played
well,
real
huh?
good, boy. I
Yeah,
don't
he
know
played
that
good.
man, but he was good,
Yeah.
boy.
Everywhere's good at United.
He had Harvey Barnes not really roast Diego Dallo, but I mean, with regards to what Gary Neville said, look, former United English player back in current English player is like it's so obvious, right? And like I said, Leicester normally start with one person in the midfield, but they had two, so you need somebody extra in our midfield as well today as well, right? So, but it didn't work out the plan because Bruno did not understand his role as a false nine, and I guess we'll talk about that later on. So,
Yeah, go through.
Yeah. For me, I don't think Rashford has done anything to even be given the opportunity to start. He came on and what did he state a claim that he deserved to start? He came on and for 20 minutes to 25 minutes, or in fact, for the entire time he was on, we just got a glimpse of him for about 5 seconds, and that was it, right?
But Nico, if I could just
Uh-huh.
cut you here,
Yeah,
right?
go
No,
ahead, go ahead.
I am not Rashford's biggest fan,
Right.
but I like to be fair to players
Mm-hmm.
because did the team play in any way to say, well, hey, listen, let me get the ball to Rashford, let me try to play to his strength, because I mean Rashford there to running behind. There was one time where Pogba found Rashford and he had a foot race
yeah,
with I think Fofana. And I mean I was thinking that if we could see more of this, then probably Rashford might be able to get it better Fofana. At least something might be able to happen.
He didn't give him anything.
Yeah,
He didn't get
but
nothing.
then again, we hoping we hoping because, but I guess that's what we had to do. But has Rashford shown us anything for us to even have that belief that Rashford could do something if he even get the ball?
I mean, he has
So,
he
so,
has
so to
he has
me,
done it in the past. I mean,
in the past, I talking about for this
I
season.
for this season, right? I am a honestly I'm a Rashford fan. I like Rashford, and this season he haven't it- he haven't had he haven't had a terrible season. But we have seen what Rashford could do, and I honestly think that Rashford is a product of this revolving door of managers.
Mhm.
He's suffering from that because Rashford has the talent, and he was showing the mentality as a player to reach the higher heights. But
JP, you
when
know,
new managers come in,
JP, you know who also had talent and was an up and coming English player as well, Theo Walcott.
oh god, oh god, let me not
Yeah,
play him
so,
the
so,
as yet
yeah.
now.
No, but
Not
my
yet.
thing is, if you had to make the decision in terms of Rashford and Pogba, to me, it's an easy decision now for the
I don't think that
season.
should have been that should not have been a decision for today's game. For today's game, it
For
should
the,
have been Rashford or McTominay. Pogba deeper,
you
let
see,
let Fred get a freer role
mhm.
further up. And yeah,
For me,
because
Rashford hasn't done
Bruno,
enough to be given a blight, and
and
that
I
is what that
understand
be a
that.
blight.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
But
understand that. But I just think that
I
Bruno,
cannot remember the
Bruno,
last time. I cannot remember the last time Marcus Rashford put in a performance this season. I honestly can't.
it's true.
So that would
Well,
have been my justification for starting
mhm.
Pogba because I
I
haven't
was
seen
hoping
anything.
I was
Uh-huh.
hoping that the 18 days that he would have been there, because he didn't travel to England. You would have hoped that maybe that could have given him some
Well,
time to
he
settle. You see, he
wasn't he in
going back
Dubai?
to the black hair, like
Wasn't
as
he
you
in
hear
Dubai?
former players talking about him, he need to focus. He need to get back that focus and focus on the game and doing the things right. So I thought that the time there, if I was Ralph, I would have said, all right, he had some time with the team training. Rashford need to get back something. We know what the boy could do. We need to get back something, give him a chance in front of goal today. Let's see what he could do. But when you stay there 18 days and you training with the team, and Bruno come back from Portugal playing how much competitive games, and the manager say, all right, we're going first line Bruno today, which did not work the one time that we tried. Bruno like to run about. Bruno is not a false nine. It didn't work. So to me, that will do even more damage to his confidence.
But I don't know because on one hand you just hear that Rashford is really being pressing in training. I think Ralph said it so many times that but he needs to convert his training form into games, right? And that hasn't been happening. So I don't know if Ralph reached to the point where he need to get results, and Pogba he's more comfortable or confident that Pogba would make the likelihood of Pogba making something happen than Rashford is greater, and that is why he choosing to go that way. Because I mean, it's no secret, and even Ralph said it today. It's no secret that Rashford's suffering from confidence, and that would have lent a lot to the decision that he would have made. Even though Neville would say, well, hey, this is a striker, you know, you should play a striker in a striker's position. But when they consider form, I think that we can't ignore that,
Yeah.
and so I kind of agree. I mean, who would know, we not and Ralph doing her hindsight that the team was going to be as poor as they were today, you know. Let me just get some comments here, guys. So Simeon on the inside, welcome Simeon, thanks for joining. He's in a late, but at least I show up unlike. Oh gosh, hey Simeon,
Thanks, Simeon.
behave.
Thanks for showing up, pal.
King, right? So King on really pre-welcome, but he's saying facts. Nico Rashford didn't make a difference. Um, Davindra, welcome man. Thanks for joining. Saying good night. I could be wrong, but today I don't know if Ralph prepared that team properly for a false nine approach. Because at times we overloaded the wings looking for a cross inside and nobody, or only Pogba in the box. Even Bruno was playing mid most of the time, looking to link up rather than strike. Yeah, and I think Phil say it, JP say it. Bruno's indiscipline and Bruno's lack of understanding of the role that he was supposed to play was glaring today. Yeah. Josiah saying here Rashford is performing like how. Listen, earlier, earlier, he's saying like how Marcel was looking last season. Now confidence is a big thing, but confidence affecting Rashford big time. Devin just saying, fellas, let me be real. Some players playing like the season done, not motivated to be honest. Best we start giving you team starts and
Kobo, maybe
combos.
Kobo sweat.
Ca-
So
all right, yeah,
a
yeah.
person did pose that question to me right earlier today, if we should start giving the youth some players, right? I'm gonna say yes and no, right? Because we still want to maintain some sort of top six position, right? Playing the youth, honestly, would just be like you don't really care about the first team anymore, right? And don't get me wrong, we still care about the first team, but does the first team care about us, right? I think we still have to be of this mentality that, you know what, we have to play in Europe, right? Don't want to play in the Europa Conference League, but we got to have some sort of European football to attract players come next season, right? So what I would do, I would mix some of the youth with some of the experienced players and see what happens. But I won't go full gun hole with like changing like 7 or 8 players and just putting in a lot of youth, right? So
Yeah. Just want to get through the comments here and then we'll continue, guys. Josiah saying here too much inconsistencies with Rash. No doubt he has the skill, but he needs to sort it out mentally. Yeah, the confidence thing, but King on really proof saying, for example, Fred was more alert than Rashford to score the goal.
That's a position, and I mean, no more of this.
Yeah, yeah. Hey Dwayne, good night to you, buddy. Thanks for joining, man. He's saying didn't even need to watch the game to be honest. I knew it would have been a draw loss. We boy, we in the dumpsters earlier.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
They were just saying here the only positive was Fred for me today.
Man of the
Even
match,
with
definitely. With
yeah.
Audi goal,
Yeah,
with Audi goal.
Yeah, worst point was Scott. He really can't start next season now. Yeah. Watch man. Anyway, I don't be saying nothing. But Mendes like how Mendes grab badge and thing. Anyway. So let me get into the game now, guys. Any points that you all want to highlight. Um
Yeah,
yeah, go
yeah.
through.
Yeah, I wanna highlight something. I don't know if you all saw it, but the side that Maguire played on today,
yes, yes,
yes,
yes,
right?
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah,
And if we look at the side Maguire played on today and the performance from Maguire today,
yeah,
right? It wasn't a coincidence
Right centre back.
because
yeah.
he's a right footer, but I don't know for what reason he always people on the left,
On the left,
and
yeah.
your confidence done shaky already, right? Why you playing more or less out of position? Varane, who is a much better defender, if it's right or left, right? Play Varane on the left, which
And
he did today.
Varane can use both feet as well.
Yeah.
And very good and confident on the ball and confident making challenges. So to me, that was glaring today, and you saw it throughout the entire game how solid Maguire was playing on the right side today. So I think that is definitely maybe something that the coaching staff would have picked up and would have made that change. And defensively, well, I mean, for Maguire, Maguire looked more defensively sound today. So I definitely want to point out that.
I think both centre backs today, were they held their end. And I always say I don't judge a player's performance over 90 minutes on one era. I look at the bigger picture. And in the same way I wouldn't say for a player who was invisible or had a poor game and come and score a last minute winner, I can't say he had a brilliant game. So even though Maguire well, not Maguire, sorry, Varane may have been guilty for not, keeping his eye on Iheanacho for the goal. I still think that Maguire and Varane had a very, very solid game today. And I guess
Remy,
probably
Remy, you're bitter boy.
no. I'm telling you, and I don't
No,
know
I don't come
if
off for the goal. You playing that on Varane boy.
was say
I can be honest
Hey,
though. I think that Fred held on to the ball too long, bro.
No,
Yeah.
no. When you go back to a couple plays before, yeah, we could talk about Bruno losing possession and then and not tracking back.
But
We could talk
then
about
it's
Fred.
typical one ball and that is it.
Yeah, yeah.
One ball
Yeah.
and they get in.
Right,
That's
but
what
but the,
happened with
but the
us right
point I
foot.
was making, is even though we concede and people will say, well, the defense messed up there, right? I still can't use that one moment to say, well, Harry Maguire and Rafael Varane had a bad game today. I
Oh
thought they
no
were
no no
both
no
very
no.
very solid.
Yeah yeah.
And I told Phil, I say, Varane, Maguire, De Gea, and Fred. Everybody else go home.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, 100%.
Any other points, fellas, that you all want to mention in terms of what would have taken place in the game today?
I think I think Bruno was one of these guys today that didn't know what he was doing or where he was, right? It's almost like you're asked to play this center forward position in a front in a false nine, but you're still playing your natural game, right? You're still using your style of play to think you can change games, right? And that's the difference between average football players and great football players, right? Great football players have their own style of game, but when called upon to play a different position, they can adapt quickly. And Bruno did not do that today, right? So there were times, and I told this to Reem during a voice note, probably when the match was still going on. We brought on Marcus Rashford. So in my opinion, I thought Marcus Rashford would have played up top, and then Bruno Fernandes would have probably revert to the cam position, right? But why is Bruno Fernandes then looking to press in front of Marcus Rashford if Marcus Rashford is the striker, right?
He
That
does
don't make
always do
sense.
that, He do that for
Yeah,
everybody,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Even when
That
Cavani
don't
there,
make
he doing
sense.
that.
Right now, then is of the perception that we're playing a front four, one, and two, the space in that central
Exactly.
attacking midfield for
Yeah.
us, which would be like their um, deep line playmaker position, is all exposed. And I'm like, this don't make no sense at all, right? And that's where it comes down to two things: discipline and communication, right? Even if you have little discipline, right, you still got to communicate with the guys. Bruno could have easily said, "No, Marcus, I get trapped in front of you, and you trap and you stay in my area," or vice versa. I did see that today.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
I want to touch on something again. During the game, during the game, how glaring it was, how spineless we are as a team now.
Mhm.
How easy a team could just pass through our entire
Yep.
team from front to back without any type of resistance. None. When no player reaching close enough to a player to even put in a challenge, even to put pressure on a player. Everything is so comfortable playing through our team. I find we too spineless to be a football team. I don't know. We supposed to be a netball or a volleyball team. We are not a football team. So that's another thing was very glaring to me, that it shouldn't be so easy. To cut short, it should never be so easy. And I asked myself, well, what do we need to correct this? Is it a manager? Is it players? Is it I don't know. Maybe I could put something else. Maybe
I
food.
I I think
I don't know.
This
I
guy,
think
Yeah.
something like that
this
had to
guy,
fall
this
on the
guy said
players.
food.
That had to fall on the players because just taken from something I was listening to this week where Adam McCullough was talking to Roy Keane about the captaincy in the club.
Oh, you made the overlap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
And
Yeah.
I was listening to Rio talk as well about how the club was in terms of the dressing room. And he said they could count on one hand how much times Fugi would have come into the players' dressing room. Because they had the players in there who would have control. And I feel like for years we lacking that. We lacking players who understand the club, understand whatever the culture is now, because the culture isn't what it was before. We had a winning culture. Now the culture is, sorry
That's
to say,
mediocre.
getting like Liverpool, where we basking in the past. And that is the frightening thing. We get into the Liverpool fan stage where it's not like, yeah, our club used to do this, but yeah, when last we do it. And we have players now who probably have that mentality. Yeah, was Manchester United playing for. I big. I play in this club that win things, but what you win as a player, nothing. And I feel like the all the talk about Cristiano, that is the players in the dressing room. Because he has done it. He did it in England, Spain, Italy, come back England. He has done it. So he could talk. He could tell anybody what he wants. And that is the type of elite mentality players that I need in the dressing room taking control. And I feel like maybe that's what we're lacking. And they're looking at that as cliques and Maguire as captain, so yeah, the English clique and the Portuguese clique. But if the players humble themselves and listen to somebody like Ronaldo, then maybe they might actually start to see a change. And that is what I was hoping for. Rashford, Sancho, when Greenwood was there, now Elanga coming up. These fellas could have looked up to their similar style of how Ronaldo transitioned his game and the longevity in the game too. I thought that that would have bring them up. I didn't think that like to see Rashford totally fall off was such a surprise.
You know,
Because
you think
I don't really talk about that.
there are clicks, but I don't mind the clicks because at the end of the day, you're gonna gravitate
You
towards
will, yeah.
people who are
Once it's
of
not
your
toxic,
own country or what's not, right? By the end of
yeah,
the day, when you step onto the pitch, you're a Manchester United player, so you got to pass to 10 other players.
yeah,
You got to pass to 10 other players, buddy. So it's too much. It's too much egos. That's what I think, right? It's too
Yeah.
much. It's too much superheroes, but no team, right?
yeah.
Everybody wants to be. There are a few players that want to play for the badge, but as JP said, some of them are basking in like Liverpool of like the 1980s, right? And I just don't want to get to that stage, or are we at that stage already, right? I don't want to go another 30 years before winning the
We
trophy.
almost
Come on.
there. We almost there. Because you have a generation that don't know about seeing us if a Premier League
I think
trophy.
I think I think I think next year will be what 10 years for our Premier League.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
I
9,
mean,
maybe 9.
I think it's 10. When so get 13.
Yeah, 2012, 2013.
Yeah.
So it'll be 2022 to
23 next year. So
2023.
yeah, 10 years.
Boy, dare Ten Hag or dare Pochettino, do something. Do
so
something, boy.
so I like each comment that you all made in terms of whatever points you were making because I have something to ask on each one, right? So we flowing nicely here. But before that, let me just get some comments here, right? They've been just saying here, oh, let's see how Matic play when he come on. Man make more plays in 20 versus Pogba 70. Definitely Matic looked good when he came on, yeah? Just like I saying, apart from the hair, nobody really playing for the badge. I wouldn't say that, you know. I believe players playing for the badge, and I just believe that players just not good enough. Right? That's my take.
Yeah.
Dwayne saying here, JP say it bowl again because that is what a lot of them in that dressing room not getting. Yeah, yeah. So, Phil, you were talking about Bruno, right? So I'm starting with you. What what are your thoughts on Bruno's 5 year extension? Do you think it was the timing was off? Anyway, let me not put words in your mouth. What do you all think about Bruno's extension? His salary is double, so it's reported that he making 240, 250, and he here until 2027.
I from from a business perspective and from the eye tests, Bruno Fernandes has been our most influential player since he signed, since under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, right? Does does he deserve a contract? I'm gonna say yes because at the end of the day, the things that Bruno has as a midfielder is that he can also score goals. There aren't much goal scoring midfielders in in Europe, right? You have the likes of Kevin De Bruyne, maybe Gundogan. Um, I could probably name two or three more, but that's about it, right? But my thing is that this next 5 years, whatever coach comes in, come hopefully within the next 2 weeks, right? Um, I want that coach to sit down and watch Bruno Fernandez for the last 7 games, whatever, right? And I want him to draw out a plan because if Bruno Fernandez is our most influential player since he signed, I want us to build a solid team around Bruno, but only a Bruno that is willing to be coached, right? We know the potential. We know the potential, and we know what Bruno Fernandez can do, right? But there's a difference between a Bruno Fernandez and a Kevin De Bruyne. There's a difference between a Bruno Fernandez and a Paul Scholes of old, a Gerrard of old, right? Bruno Fernandez is not on that level as yet, right? So we have to put up with another 5 years of this, but I hope it's a more disciplined Bruno Fernandez come this summer. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. For me, well, I'm hoping, right, that we learn, or this decision was a decision based on learning, from decision of maybe letting Pogba work for free in the summer. For me, I think that is bad business. That is terrible business.
Yes.
For a club of Manchester United, Pogba is still more or less in his prime. He should never be able to work for free. So hopefully the club has learned. Maybe seeing Bruno as an asset for long term in terms of maybe even getting back some kind of profit on Bruno. So I think as much as we might look at the 5 years and say, wait, 5 years to Bruno, but in 3 years, you never know. We might look to cash in, right? With him having and still 2 years on his contract, where we could call a price for him now. So I thinking as much as it is a football decision to extend his contract, I think it's also a business decision, and for me, it's a good business decision because at the end of the day, Bruno is one of your prized assets, and in a year or two, you never know Real Madrid could come knocking, and we might get 100 and something million for Bruno, and use that money to reinvest it back into the team and continue. But because United has been doing that, developing players, and selling them off for big money, and maybe that will continue with Bruno. Maybe that is the plan for Bruno in the future, or the hope, or a good business, plan for the future.
But Nico, I can't remember the last time we sold a player I made a profit.
Well, 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 I
Last
mean, in
one was
terms of
Dan
the
James.
quality players, so who is that?
Dan James,
Dan
you make a
James.
profit on Dan James.
No,
Yeah.
but Dan James, but what I mean in terms of your quality players, so like
Yeah.
so like Ronaldo, which would have been a while definitely.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, we'd have definitely made a profit on Ronaldo when we sold him, and to me, if we develop a player, because I tell you, if Pogba, let me say Real Madrid was paying a big fee for Pogba, Pogba was gone. We was going to sell Pogba. Manchester United was going to sell Pogba, but just that it never kick off enough, right?
COVID.
Well, whatever for them to sell Pogba, but they would have sell Pogba for a profit.
Yeah, go through JP.
Yeah, but I think the Bruno contract extension is a good move. As I think Phil said, the last in terms of the next coach that coming in need to sit down with him and he need to understand his influence in the team, but that doesn't mean he has to be everywhere on the pitch. He has to understand the areas that he could influence the team
That's my
because he
That's my
leaves big
problem.
gaps behind the striker, and you have to have a proper link midfield to the CAM to the forward line. He wanna be on the right wing, the left wing, he going back in defense. He trying to do too much, and he needs to understand this is where you're influential, this is where you need to operate in. Once I could get that into him, I see in the 5 years plus because he's the type of player that as he get older, with more discipline, he could drop back deeper and be more influential in the game. If he could grow like that. So that could be a proper long term player that we have there if he grow the way we want him to.
I don't know earlier. And there's me just trying to be a devil's advocate here. I see it differently, yeah. Before I do that, let me just get this comment from Devindra. He's saying here, what do you think about Bruno getting a contract with not put with no input I guess he means with no
From the
input from the new
manager.
manager. Yeah, what that tells you about the influence the new manager will have, much less Ralph. I really hoping for 8 players out, 5 quality committed men. Yes, the squad needs something different. And Simeon saying here, man getting contract to play, not perform, right? And off of that, the performance he puts on right after the contract. I believe that this is a business decision more than a footballing decision, right? And as you all noted, you want to be able, you don't want what happened with Lingard and Pogba to happen with Bruno, especially with 2 years on his contract, because he could easily say, well, I'm not renewing, right? Because after a certain point, agents just come to the club to talk about renewal, and if the club kind of put it on pause, then it is get the agent bright, and he just started going and talk to other players, and then he'll talk to other clubs, and then he'll instruct his player to do entertain no contract talks with the club. So that could put in a kind of real situation and the possibility of losing Bruno for free, right? But the reason why I say I do agree with it as a footballing decision, and I think you all mentioned it as well, we don't know if Bruno would fit the new manager, right? I have seen Ralph come in and try, right, to discipline Bruno, and Bruno revert. It had a couple of games where I actually saw where Ralph was in Bruno's ears, and I was seeing Bruno trying to be disciplined. And then I don't know where that went. I don't know if Ralph just said, well, whatever, right? And Bruno do what you want to be, because I am not seeing that kind of control and discipline that Ralph has been talking about from the time he walked in Carrington. I'm not seeing that in Bruno. So I don't know if Bruno is a kind of player that you could manage. There's those kind of players that you just can't manage, and you have to let them do what they could do. I don't know if Bruno is that kind of player, because even at Sporting, Bruno was all over the place, right? And let me just say this, right? Sporting never win nothing while Bruno was there. And as Bruno left, Sporting win the Portuguese championship, right?
I want to mention something, right?
So losing Bruno may not be, right, a bad thing from a footballing perspective. If a good manager come in and say, well, hey, here we're gonna realize this player not really fitting my style, and I try with him after one season and I realize it's not working, let me get rid. Because remember now, if his contract extended and Bruno making a certain amount, you remember plenty of the players that we're trying to get rid of. The reason why we can't get rid of them is because of the wages.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that's just my take on it. I could be wrong, and Bruno could be, managed, and he could be a baller, and as JP say, he could be here for the foreseeable future.
I got add something to what Reem says right now. Within the international break, we were tutored to be getting, or we're looking to put in a bid for Harry Kane, right? Harry Kane and Bruno Fernandes have the same style of play.
They will clash.
Yeah.
Them will clash.
Can you imagine two of them on the same football pitch?
True.
They will clash.
True. And that's when he and Ronaldo have some problems too, because
Correct.
Ronaldo have to create space. He likes to come to, but the thing is, if as somebody, I forget who mentioned in communication, where he and Rashford not communicating. If especially two of them in Portuguese, they would think that if Ronaldo drop into create space, that Bruno will go into it, and vice versa. Like, we don't understand and go on. Because I remember, like, when we had Tevez, Rooney, and Ronaldo playing, and like you didn't know who was the focal point, because they just used to keep rotating, and that was great communication and great man management to get them to be able to play that way. So I always thought, like, when you have these types of players in the teams, that they could continue to play that kind of football, where you have a front three, but you don't necessarily have to have one particular man as the focal point. And Bruno could play in a system like that if he could discipline himself, but he just want to do everything.
Yeah.
Surprised he ain't go and push aside there, yeah, you can try to keep two.
Nah, that's for Maguire, boy. Maguire try that first.
Sivian said here, business-wise, it's a good decision. Football-wise, considering Bruno's current form, you wait till a new manager to see if he's worth that type of money, considering the style the club is heading. Yeah, similar to what I said. Hey, Jody, welcome, man. Thanks for joining. Blessed night to you, too.
Yeah, man.
How things? The team is laugh Chester United, yes? Boy, if you don't laugh, you go cry. So I prefer laugh Chester than cry Chester. So let's see what happened with Ilanga and Rashford. And I think we had spoken about it in terms of we have a lot of individuals looking for glory, right? And sometimes if the players be a little less selfish or more selfless, then chances are we could have win this game today. You know, I mean, 3 points important, and while we could come here and talk about how poor the team playing, at least we could have had 3 points in the bag. You know, and I don't know how much I know or let's see it, right? Where Rashford was clean through, right? And that was the wrap. And Elanga, one till anyway. Will you see that? What are your thoughts on that?
You see, Maguire didn't trip off today, right? And do something Maguire. So Ilanga was like, nah, I had to do something. I want to tackle my own player.
Yeah. Yeah, in that moment as a striker, right? You see a possibility to get the ball, to score. Your eyes lighting up now. You going in a flight mode. You ain't gonna think that, hey, there's a possibility I could be offside.
But at that age, he's so naive, though. So naive.
You
But
know?
offside wasn't even the issue, Nico. Yeah, he was offside, but that wasn't the issue, you know.
Like Rashford had it.
He fouled Rashford.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he gonna kick the ball. He wants to get the ball.
Let Rashford go through, Nico. Let Rashford go
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
When
But
you
as I
are
say,
awareness, like-
his eyes get bright. He see the lights, and he went for glory.
He should
You
put on
know,
my
but-
he should put on my shades next time when you see the lights. Then, my gosh,
Yeah, but that one, hey, hear him. Woo.
It's like it's summing up we season.
This
Yeah.
season, terrible.
Yeah.
And another one that sum up this season was the Sancho one. When he went for the ball and it hit his standing.
Yeah,
foot.
yeah.
Oh god.
Nah. You can't. It can't be so bad.
Yeah.
Because at least when you keep us safe, at least hit it wide. At least
Yeah.
hit it over the bar. You miss the entire ball with no pressure, nobody around you.
Yeah.
Nah. I say, you see those moments is what sum up your season. When you see them thing, you don't know you see. Pack it up.
Why you going back in the shell though? See,
That's the thing.
why he going back in that shell? He was now starting to really show that he's not afraid to run at players and take them on. But like last 2 games or so, he going back in the
Yeah.
shell where he playing safe.
Yeah, I don't know if it's not getting English call up with the England team.
I was just want to
I
mention
was
that.
wondering
It
that. Yeah.
could be that, you know.
You know, because
But-
he was in decent form. He was in decent form and he didn't get called up. You
Yeah.
know, and he would have known that even before the last game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I don't know if it's that.
Nah, that man traveling Dubai and Milan, Nico. Come on.
No, but that still don't mean it things doesn't affect them, eh?
True.
Yeah, so
Anyway, let's get this comment before we move on to the last point, right? Dwayne saying here that front three of Rooney, Tevez, Ronaldo was telepathic behavior, in the past, but to see that again with Fergie to come out of retirement because we ain't going to see that in a while. Yeah, and I just want to add a next player to that, Berbatov. You know, Berbatov was part of that too. You know, that was a quality. Yeah, that was quality. Yeah, what we could do to see that again by doing, but
it's
yeah,
fun watching United at those times, boy.
boy, right. So fellas, right now we're looking at a lot of talk surrounding the new manager that's coming in, right? And I think it narrowed down to Ten Hag and Pochettino, right? And from what I read in, Ten Hag, in front, right? I don't know if you all have any other information to say otherwise, right? But that's what I'm hearing, right? A question on 2 parts, right? Does Ten Hag or Poch do anything better than Ralph with his squad, right? And what is the next and most important step for United going forward? I don't know if you'll understand the question.
For me, the the most important step for you, Manchester United going forward is to back whoever new manager coming in. You know, if it's Ten Hag and Ten Hag say, hey, we want Anthony, and Anthony costing $80 million, bring Anthony, right? Because definitely we know we need a striker, right? If we say maybe it's Kane, I just say that, and Spurs say they were 100 million for Kane, go and get Kane. You know, as much as we may not say, well, here what maybe you could spend a 60 million here and spend a 40 million somewhere else. But at the end of the day, we go in and judge the coach. And if you don't give the coach the right tools, then how you could really judge him now? You can't judge him if you don't give him the proper tools. So for me, um, whoever is the manager, we need to back the manager and whoever players we want. We know in terms of history, we know Van Gaal would have said it. Other coaches would have said it. At United, he would have gotten his third choices, right? And to me, if we want to improve, that can happen. We are Manchester United. We are the biggest brand, which I guess that what we holding on to. The biggest brand in the world. And if we are the biggest brand, then as much as on the commercial side we're doing well, now I think we should really invest, on the sporting aspect and on improving the team, backing the manager, and to me that is what I hope from Manchester United going forward. Again, I would, if it's Ten Hag, I don't mind. I want to see something different. I saw Pochettino. I don't think Pochettino could really take this team forward. And we need to get rid of some of the square pegs. We definitely need to build a cohesive unit now, because I tell you, if you look how that team was today, how the Stackers passed through our team, that is not a unit.
Disjointed. Yeah, we
That is not a
disjointed bad.
unit. So we need to get a proper unit. The players who cannot fit or won't fit, is either we get rid of them and get improvements and to back the incoming manager.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? I
Okay,
think I
fellas.
think Nico saying it say as best as they could say there. The only thing I think I will add is in bringing Ten Hag, you had to bring who he wanted him and his staff too. This Darren Fletcher on the bench and thing that other stuff. It's
Yeah.
time to allow somebody to come with their full team and back them 100. This is what you want. This is what you need. You're getting it.
And then
My
we could really judge. Then we could really
Yeah,
judge.
yeah.
Because
my thing, because I've told people, because a lot of people ask me over the last couple of weeks, who you prefer, Ten Hag or Poch, right? And I tell people straight up, I'm not against Poch, but I'm more for Ten Hag, if that makes
Yeah,
sense,
yeah.
right? My thing with Poch is that if he's managing, if he can't manage, or he's barely managing the egos at Paris Saint Germain in the French league, right? What makes people who are for Poch think that he's going to manage the egos at Manchester United, right? And I'm more for Ten Hag because Ten Hag was able to nurture and coach, emphasis on the word coach, youngsters. Two teams he brought through since 2017 for that Ajax, right? He also has experience with Pep at Bayern Munich as well. A lot of people don't know that, right? Ten Hag definitely, if he's given the resources, and I'm talking about, you know, financial resources from the Glazers and human resources, like, whoever has been a pedestal, whoever has been the foundation of him to do what he wants to do at Ajax, right? As Nico said, if Ten Hag wants to bring in play this person or that person to be his backroom staff, don't be like forcing him to work with the likes of Darren Fletcher or Michael Carrick or whoever, right? At the end of the day, if these are the guys, because you're hiring me for a reason, right? I'm a manager not by myself. I'm a manager because of the team around me, the cast around me, right? So why not just hire me and my cast, right? In terms of players, right? I can see only a few players who will adopt to Ten Hag, in my opinion, or whoever, or whichever manager comes in, right? Because, like I said, like we all know, some of these players have egos. When this summer comes, Ten Hag, just go Ten Hag or Poch. I'm speaking Ten Hag into existence, but Ten Hag or Poch, whoever comes, just go straight into the transfer market. If we can get at least 3 or 4 players before we travel to Bangkok, also Australia, I will be good with that. I don't want this whole doing the whole Manchester United thing of buying players at the very last minute so that we can make Sky Sports News and be like, oh, we signed this person for $120 million, right? I don't care about that. Get
Yeah,
about
these
3 or 4.
sagas. Yeah.
Exactly. Get out 3 saga. Yeah, that's the best way to describe it. Get 3 or 4 players in before we travel for preseason and let them gel with the other players, right? And that's what I'm for.
Yeah, yeah. So I think what everybody saying here basically is recruitment. Recruitment is important and backing the manager, to get who he wants. And if it means that we either come out of pocket and come out big, then do it. You know. Jody's saying here, Nico, every manager that came in, we backed them and the players, but the players eventually give up for whatever reason. Yeah, you've seen a bunch of
Jody,
crybabies.
we could battle that point, Jody.
Yeah, because some of them said they didn't really get who they wanted.
Yeah, because you
They
telling
bring in
me.
marquee signings, but it wasn't who they wanted.
I don't think Mourinho got every player he wanted though.
Okay.
I think
Are you
Mourinho
telling me
was
that Solskjaer was comfortable with that squad going into the season? No, you can't
That's
tell me
One
that. You
midfielder,
can't tell
one
me.
midfielder.
You can't tell me that Solskjaer was
we know
comfortable with
Ole.
that midfield.
We know Ole
Never.
wanted. We know Ole wanted Jack Grealish, and probably the board was like, you know what, here's Donny Van de Beek. Nothing against Donny Van de Beek because Donny Van de Beek was a quality player at Ajax, right? But it hasn't
Yeah.
turned out well for us and for him.
Yeah.
So
This season he would have wanted Sancho. He didn't get it. Come on, game now.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And he
Bruno.
wanted a
They
Rice.
wanted
He wanted
Bruno earlier.
he wanted Bruno earlier. He get Bruno late, then he get
Yeah.
Sancho late, and what he's saying is he might have get Rice this
He was
season. So he
hoping.
had to
Yeah,
go
he was
through a
hoping
whole
a
season
whole
to get Rice.
before he could have get Rice.
Yeah.
You know, so you could battle that point, Jody. But I hear you.
Then saying here, Reem, that is an important question. Can either one of the managers do better with the current players? And even if they get some of the players they want, are they going to turn the ship around with the cancer that spread for years now mixed with the gangrene in this club? It's going to
Bad
take
boy.
Jesus to help me. That's how bad it is.
Hey, do it easily, boy. You mix up that whole Callaloo yeah, that's what's going on there right now.
Yeah,
Gangrene
Jody
and Jesus we need in this club. Gangrene out and Jesus in.
Jody said, hey, it doesn't matter what manager comes in, these this crop of players just not cutting it. Yeah.
true.
So guys, we have less Everton
Everton.
right next week. Have a whole week to train. So expecting us to play worse.
Oh, God,
Too much time.
Yeah, too much time. Too much time. Then fellas have to play tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know? So let me get some closing thoughts, guys. Yeah, because we had that point in the show. JP?
Wait, is it all already?
Yep.
Yeah.
Holy sh! Wow.
Yeah.
I thought therapy
flies.
that's good. I thought therapy
Yeah.
that's good for you, boy.
Yeah.
Therapy.
Where I kid not, I feel we're just on the half-hour mark.
I thought therapy that's when you get a good therapy session.
Yeah. You lie down there and you're on that bed and you're just talking and you're just laying, you're just venting now, you know? When you check it, your bill is $10,000 because it's an hour and change. JP, go through closing thoughts.
Yeah. I mean, like I mentioned last time I was on, I think I got with us being out of Europe and writing up the season. The only plus today is when the Leicester Chelsea get my brother is a big Chelsea fan, so I was glad I could laugh at him at least for that. It was proper licks.
And then you're sweating. Then
yeah.
your fingers on your toes. Get
My
plucked
heart
up.
racing watching that game. Can't wait for the cup to come back on. Yeah, but
It's like Man United can't let we banter in peace now, but you know?
One weekend, man. No one, right? Yeah, but I mean, I just one game at a time as it now, because I can't really watch a game with expectation and no kind of hope in terms of senior team players or units, I give up on that. So it's just really hoping to get early news now with the new appointment, Ten Hag, and from there, that we started hearing some early agreements. Hopefully, he bring that Bayern mentality from when he was there and started make things happen early with players. So we have pre-agreements in place. So by the time the window open, it's just going to travel to the squad and get things going.
Yeah. Big Phil?
Um, a loss for words because like the season is over. The performance that we put on today was awful. I mean, hopefully we can get some good news in the next 2 weeks as to who the new manager will be, right? Until then, you kind of gotta you kind of gotta expect these type of performances from now till the end of the season, right? I don't care. I don't care where we finish, right? Once we beat Arsenal, I'm good because I know that if Arsenal beat us, they are going to find my number and my Instagram and my Snapchat and everything, and they're gonna message me. Okay, but yeah, this has been a great therapy session, though. I still can't believe it all gone. I still can't believe that. But anyway, no, good session, guys. Good session.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Michael?
yeah, again for me, I looking forward to the announcement of the manager. I think that the rest of the season for me. And hoping that we get them signings in early now. Whatever else happened for the rest of the season, I just watching. I watch it, I'll back my team, and I said at the beginning of the show, I'll continue to be a fanatic, but as much as the season go, as everybody else said that he done right off, um, I'm looking forward to, the new manager and new signings in as soon as possible. Yeah.
Yeah. I can't help earlier. And I mean, I feel everything others say, because I kinda numb. So it's just like we just going through the motion until the season end. We don't write it off. Even
Mm.
Pogba, say the season dead.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be coming from a player. Because I know fans want to hear, right? We want to know that when you're going into games that you're fully vested. And I mean that statement, anytime Pogba have a poor performance, it will just keep coming back to me. You know. But yeah, exciting news for me now is nothing but managerial news, and I want to know that he coming in with his staff. I don't want no Man United players hand in that coaching staff. I don't want to see Fletcher, none of them. Right? Or let's sit down and wear a jacket and tie upstairs.
Here,
Stay
here,
far from that
Yeah.
that team.
here we're going on, right? Because at the start of the season, we unveiled Rafael Varane before Leeds. Now we thrashed Leeds. We unveiled Ronaldo before Newcastle, and we thrashed Newcastle. Then we unveiled the new manager before Arsenal.
That's
Yeah, well, we taking
I'm
that.
just
We
saying,
taking
right?
that.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we taking that. Yeah. So guys, I think we all kind of, waiting for the appointment. I still have an issue with why we just kind of announce it and done, but I guess it have whatever, you know, thing that would, kind of prohibit
say,
that.
say it's already made.
Well, all I'm saying is why we can't make the decision
Uh,
and announce it, because I
so,
really
so
not
that
get
means
wait.
to announce it, that means decision made, right?
Yeah. Well, what
So
I'm
you say
saying,
the
right,
decision
is
made. Uh-huh.
yeah. What I'm saying is whenever the decision is made,
Okay.
announce it,
Okay.
right? Because they're saying, if it's Ten Hag, he's still, heavily involved in a title race with Ajax, and they don't want the announcement to affect anything, Why I'm saying is here what's going on now. We are Manchester United, right? When Pep was leaving Bayern, the
Everybody
announcement
done
get
it.
make long before he
When
walk out the door.
when
Yep.
when Lopetegui was leaving Spain, right? During the World Cup. Yeah. The whole world don't know. He leaving Spain after the World Cup.
Like when he reached the World Cup.
That man get sacked. What's that? That was
I
a
can
jealous
read.
one.
I can
That
read.
one was a jealous.
I can read a couple of tweets that says that Manchester United believe that it will cost 2 million to compensate Ajax for Ten Hag, right?
Alone?
Yes, 2 million, right? And
But
then,
announced last night now by
and
along.
it's rumored that Ten Hag believes that Robin van Persie should be part of his backroom staff, because of
Okay.
his knowledge of Man United.
Okay. Okay.
If he wanted, I good with that. Once it's his
Okay.
decision, I
But
good with
Yeah,
that.
not- yeah.
JP, 2 million for Man United is nothing. But you know
No.
we will do some sort of BS and we will
That
owe
it will
Ajax
go up to like 15.
50 million or something.
Yeah.
Give me that top striker.
No, but I just I don't understand, when you consider the amount of work that have to happen in this club. I don't know if appointing a manager at the end of the season, will give him enough time to do what he needs to do. He could get how much assessment report from Ragnick or whoever. It's different when you sitting at the seat and you want to make assessments for yourself. And I just think, waiting until June and then he had to come in. It's similar like what to do Mourinho and what to do Moyes. Well, at least Moyes had known before, right? So he could at least appoint his people to start to do their work. I don't know. I just find these Man United, Ten Hag or Poch or whoever or whoever, that is our manager, things agree, whoever, right? So it is what it is. Anyway, so guys, it was nice. It was nice in spite of the negativity that Manchester United is trying to pawn win earlier. All right, we could still come here and enjoy a nice little therapy session. So thanks to those who were in the comments. Thanks to JP, Phil, Nick, and myself. Yeah. Everton up next. And guys, we'll see you on the next one.
Yeah,
Good
Good
night.
night.
Yeah, good night.